Then let's move on. So on last Friday's show, we spoke about the impact of Riccardo Calafiori and his role within the team. Well, here's the excellent football meta explaining exactly how Arsenal's Italian defender is being utilised.
Calafiori has quickly established himself in Arsenal's starting lineup, gaining confidence and finding his place in Arteta's system. And we're beginning to see why he could be a pivotal signing for Arsenal this season. After impressing under Thiago Motta at Bologna and one of Italy's only standout players at the Euros, Arsenal were quick to make a move for the 22-year-old centre-back-fullback hybrid. But Arteta is using him in a slightly different role from what he's accustomed to. While his season at Bologna saw him start as a centre-back, his key trait was undeniably his ability to drive the ball forward. And Arteta has been able to put this to good use without sacrificing his solid centre-back partnership. To do this, he's allowing Calafiori to play in a much more advanced position. Arsenal have been starting their matches in either a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 formation, but will almost always shift into a 3-2-5 shape when in possession, creating this box in the centre that allows them to outnumber the opposition's midfield, whilst simultaneously outnumbering the defensive line with 5 players. In this shape, Calafiori is being used as the inverted fullback, starting out wide, but quickly drifting into the centre of the pitch, allowing Declan Rice to push forward between the lines. In Arsenal's recent wins against PSG and Southampton, Calafiori was often the first target from the defensive line in midfield, comfortable under pressure and moving the ball into the 3 players around him to help Arsenal gain control of the pitch. But Calafiori is not fixed to this position, and he has the freedom to rotate and pick up more advanced positions as well. In fact, in Arteta's system, as long as the base structure is maintained, the players are free to rotate and pick up whatever position is needed. And it's common to see Calafiori pick up the ball in a number of different positions. At times, swapping places with the winger, or more commonly, picking up the ball between the opposition's midfield and defensive lines, with Declan Rice giving the team more cover in the centre. This structure was seen multiple times in their recent matches, such as in this move here against PSG, with Arsenal breaking the midfield line and Calafiori being in acres of space to push forward with the ball. Or in their build-up to Havertz's goal to make it 1-0 in the 20th minute. This more central position has also been crucial for Arsenal in the final third, as it allows him to connect play out wide with the winger or look to circulate possession away from the pressure. And it's a position that has already caused a lot of issues for the opposition, like his incredible long-range equaliser against Man City. But this very subtle position in the half space means that if Arsenal are moving down the right flank, this pass across the box becomes extremely dangerous, as he has the space to cross it into the forwards or out wide and attack the half space. And if Arsenal lose the ball, he is instantly ready to put pressure on the opponent, helping them regain possession high in the opposition's half. And it's a position that we're likely to see being used frequently in Arsenal's upcoming match against Bournemouth at the weekend. Iraola has definitely made Bournemouth an entertaining team to watch, with an aggressive high press, quick vertical football when in possession, and creating a lot of chances but struggling to hit the back of the net. But there are some spaces that Arsenal will definitely look to exploit. Bournemouth want to close the opposition down as quickly as possible, by closing off central options and forcing play out wide, trying to get the opposition to play long balls into the centre-backs. And Arsenal will need to be careful not to get caught into this trap. But in order to do this, Bournemouth do tend to leave a lot of space on the opposite side of the pitch. And their 4-1-3-2 pressing shape does give room to players like Calafiori and Partey to play third-man passes away from the pressure, and help Arsenal gain ground. If able to find space away from Bournemouth's first press, then teams like Liverpool have been able to exploit these big gaps in midfield, with the defensive line often being isolated against the attacking set of players. A space Arsenal will definitely look to exploit in a similar fashion to their game against PSG in the Champions League. Defensively speaking, Arsenal will need to watch out for Iraola's quick attacks. Bournemouth are a team that don't waste time when in possession. A typical pattern will see a long ball into the striker dropping deep with good support between the lines, and ready to move the ball out wide into the wingers. From here, Bournemouth are able to get a lot of players forward quickly, attacking the half spaces, with the wingers cutting inside and linking up play on the edge of the box. By far their most prolific position this season, with the vast majority of their chances coming from deep crosses into the box from this position, or the wingers dribbling past the defenders and shooting from just inside the box.
Thank you to the brilliant football meta. Guys, what do you think of Calafiori's role this season?
I think it's bang on. It's brilliant. I think Calafiori's role is a really, really interesting one. I cover a lot of Italian football, so I'd seen quite a bit of him before he came to Arsenal. And one of the criticisms that he often got thrown at him was that he's a bit too bold in possession, he's a bit too brave, he tries outrageous things from centre-back. And so Mikel bringing him in and putting him at left-back means that there's a little bit more protection if he does want to be a little bit more adventurous in the way he plays. I think he's a great fit for us. I think he's brought the best out of Gabriel Martinelli. I always think back to, you guys must have seen it when Zinchenko gave an interview. I think it was to Rio Ferdinand, and he spoke about how the role of the inverted fullback is to come inside to either take people with him and sort of, you know, move them away from Martinelli and mean that he can have that one-on-one versus the fullback, or to overload in the midfield. And then if you work it out to the winger and you give him that 1v1 situation over and over again, they're going to make it count. And Martinelli's had a lot of joy as a result of Calafiori coming into the side. I think he's great. I think he's Zinchenko with a bit more defensively, and that's ultimately what we were looking for.
Yeah, so I think first time I saw him at Arsenal, when he went to invert, I watched him off the sideline. He came off late off the bench, and when he inverts, he goes in like he means business. So some of the things we see in tactics, moving people around, but when you get there, what can you do? Have you got the ability to actually affect the game in the interior and on the outside? And he has that ability. So when he's out wide and he has to cross the ball, he can do that. When he's inside, he can shoot. He can pass either side, short and long, and he can carry. So the tactics is one thing, but the ability when you're in those spaces to be multi-layered and produce affects the opposition, because they have to come and meet you. They have to come out and step out to you. When they step out to you, somebody else is free, like Martinelli, for example. So if I'm going through the midfield, no one's coming to find me. They're going to let me go, right? Players with low quality, you can have it. You can have it. Let's see what you do. Players with quality, you have to deal with them. I think what Arteta's done is added more quality to allow us to do the things that he wants to do on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, I think it's for me, the inverted fullback is nothing new. We've seen it with Zinchenko when he arrived, and that's when we've started seeing Mikel Arteta playing that way, more on the left-hand side that we do on the right. But what you see with Calafiori, first, to be able to play in that position, you've got to be a great football player all around. Yeah. Because you end up from a left-back position where you've got all the game in front of you and the touchline on the side, where you can see everything. Suddenly, you get into the middle, there's things going on behind your back. So your awareness and your understanding of football has got to be at the top. It's the hardest position to play because there's no hiding. You've got to have 360 eyes everywhere. So he's able to do that as well as Zinchenko. But on top of that, he's able to drive forward with the ball. And that's something that I didn't, I knew he could do, but not from a left side point of view. I thought I've seen him with Italy at the Euros and saw that centre back keep driving forward, and I thought, wow, he's brave, as a centre back. But he does it from a left back position, getting into midfield, and ending up finishing and getting involved in the attacking play, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible for a player to adjust to the Premier League and to a system so quickly and be so so powerful going forward.
He's not a conventional Italian defender either.
He's definitely not.
Yeah, that's why it took a bit of time, I think, for him to be appreciated. He had to go away, and he played at Basel for a little bit, and he came back. And even when he started doing really well for Bologna under Thiago Motta, people were looking at him and going, okay, it's all well and good, but you've got a mistake in you because of how brave you are in possession. And I think it takes a coach like Mikel Arteta who will encourage you to show that bravery and will encourage you to step into those areas to bring the best out of players like him. And that's why I think he's landed at a great spot for himself. But for us, it's brilliant because we get both sides of the game. And if he needs to tuck in and be a centre-back, essentially, like he did against Manchester City when things got tough for us down to 10 men, he's got that side to his game as well.